Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are tackling a very psychological and thrilling anime, Monster. Monster was created by Naoki Urasawa, and it's a franchise that is still influencing various anime and manga today. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss another update. Now without further ado, let's get it. Monster was first published by Shogakukan in Big Comic Original from December 5th, 1994 until December 20th, 2001. It was Urasawa's first work to gain international acclaim and sold over 20 million copies, making it one of the best-selling manga series of all time. Its anime adaptation, produced by Madhouse, has been called one of the greatest animes of its era, premiering in Japan on April 7, 2004 on Nippon TV and ran until September 28, 2005, consisting of 74 episodes. So, let's get into the story. Dr. Kenzo Tenma, a highly skilled Japanese neurosurgeon working at Eisler Memorial Hospital in Germany, early in his career, performs a big surgery on a famous opera singer. The dude lives, which is dope, but the director snags all the credit in front of the press. Tenma's like, "Bro, you're a snake!" but keeps it inside because he's not trying to tweak or get fired. Soon after, Tenma learns a Turkish construction worker died because the hospital basically said, "famous peeps first." His widow guilt trips Tenma, but Tenma's fiance and his boss's daughter, Ava Heinemann, are like, "Meh, some lives are more important than others." Tenma's like, "Damn, shawty, you cold as fuck." So Tenma's like, "I'm done with this cook system." Chat, he's about to take a stand. Suddenly, the hospital gets an insane case. A couple named the Lieberts got murdered, but their two kids, Johan and Anna, twins, somehow survived. Johan has a bullet lodged in his head, so Tenma has to operate right away. But guess who tries to ruin his vibe? Director Heinemann. He's all, "Forget this kid, go fix our sugar daddy mayor instead." But Tenma's all, "Nah, I'm not glazing any more big shots. I'm saving the kid." He does it, but the mayor goes bye-bye under some weaker doctors. So Heinemann gets big mad, demotes Tenma, the other doctors blackball him, and Ava breaks off their engagement. Tenma starts tweaking, goes back into Johan's room, and beside an unconscious Johan, mutters something about wishing Heinemann and the others would just die. Oops, oops, oops. A few days later, Heinemann and the other surgeons who dogpiled Tenma are found dead, having eaten poisoned candy. The Liebert twins Johan and Anna vanish. Everyone's like, "Tenma, did you do it?" Inspector Lunge from the BKA, Germany's Federal Criminal Police Office, starts to side-eye Tenma for a hot minute. But with no evidence, he's forced to let him go. Because so many top surgeons just got clapped, Tenma is ironically promoted to chief of neurosurgery. 9 years pass. Tenma's living his best life, saving people left and right, but still wondering, what happened to those twins almost a decade ago? One night, a criminal named Adolf Junkers, who's connected to a string of serial murders of the elderly, shows up at Tenma's hospital, babbling about the monster. The monster! Tenma's like, "Fam, what monster?" But before he can spill any tea, bro starts tweaking, escapes the hospital, and Tenma chases after him. Suddenly, a blonde figure steps out of the shadows and whacks Junker right in front of Tenma. Tenma recognizes that blonde figure as Johan Liebert. So Johan dips. Tenma tells everything to Inspector Lunge, but he thinks Tenma's the real killer. Tenma's like, "Bruh, you're tweaking, Johan is real." But Lunge is stuck on his Johan is Tenma's alter ego theory. So bro realizes he's absolutely cooked and sets out to find Johan himself. Meanwhile, Johan's sister Anna got adopted and is now Nina Fortner. She's living her best life as a college student with zero memories of her whack childhood. But random nightmares keep haunting her. She starts getting cryptic emails from Johan, and she remembers glimpses of that awful night. Eventually, Nina meets Tenma, who saves her from some of Johan's goons. Realizing her past is cooked, Nina parts ways with Tenma to find Johan solo. Tenma, now a fugitive, because the cops think he's a killer, goes full vigilante, deciding to track down Johan and put a stop to his murder spree. Along the way, Tenma rescues a kid named Dieter, who was being groomed by a weirdo doc to become the next Johan. Dieter becomes Tenma's little buddy, and Tenma like a father figure to him. They dig deeper into Johann's backstory, stumbling on 511 Kinderheim, an old East German orphanage where the staff basically turned kids into emotionless soldiers, until Johann apparently started a revolt that got everyone, staff and children, cooked. Now we all realize this kid has been a savage. Even the doc who saved him is like, why did I do that? Meanwhile, Inspector Lunge is too busy booting up like Windows XP to see how real Johann is. No matter how many receipts people try to give him, he's convinced Tenma is the monster. Skipping ahead, we enter Frankfurt, Germany, where a weird dwarf called the Baby, no, I'm not talking about that baby, the Baby leads a neo-Nazi group. They want Johann to be their poster boy for evil. Nina and Tenma both get kidnapped, but Tenma ends up meeting a man named General Wolf, who found the twins all those years ago and sponsored Johann's schemes. Wolf is all like, I might have been evil, but this man is a D1 crash out. He's murdered everyone I've ever loved. Tenma, please kill this nigga. So Tenma dips. Meanwhile, Johann murders all of his sister's captors and disappears again. This slippery bastard. Eventually, the Baby's goons start a spree of arsons to burn down the local Turkish neighborhoods in the city, but Tenma helps evacuate the citizens while Nina and Dieter stop the fire. It is here we are brought to Munich. There's an ultra-rich blind old man named Schuwald who has a secret son named Karl Neumann. Karl tries to reconnect with his dad, so Johann slides in being all fake friendly, offering to help like he's Mr. Nice Guy. But guess what? He's setting up a plan. Meanwhile, a private investigator named Richard Brown gets close to uncovering the truth about the tons of unalivings around Schuwald's circle since Johann joined. Until Johann takes bro up to the roof and offers him a bottle of alcohol. And the next morning, poof, Richard is dead. And that is where the infamous meme is born. You know what I'm talking about. Now, Ava's back in this city too, being a hot mess. She's super bitter, hopped up on booze, hooking up with random men, and complaining about Tenma. She almost gets whacked by Johann's top henchman, Roberto, but she manages to squeak away. Eventually, Johann orchestrates a fancy donation event at the university library where Schuwald is donating rare books. It's a trap though. The library is set on fire. Tenma tries to shoot Johann like he's John Wick, but can't pull the trigger and gets clapped in the head by Roberto. Nina tries to kill Johann, but freezes up harder than Lunge's typewriter, and in the end, the library collapses. Schuwald is badly hurt, and Johann vanishes. Lunge shows up, sees Tenma at the scene, and starts tweaking while everyone else is like, dude, you are cooked, find Johann! Skipping ahead, Tenma heads to Prague, where he learns the twins' mom used to live. It is here we learn that their mom lived at the Red Rose Mansion, run by Franz Bonaparte. Bonaparte was the author of a children's book called The Nameless Monster and ran sinister psychological experiments on children. The twins' mother was basically forced to have them for some twisted eugenics plan. Eventually, she escaped, went into hiding, and forced Johann and Nina to dress up the same. Eventually, Franz's men found her and took back Johann, until one day a mass poisoning occurred, killing everyone except a young Johann. However, Nina, looking for clues as well, realizes that it wasn't Johann who was taken to the Red Rose Mansion, but her! And that she just told Johann everything that happened to her when she was a kid. After that, he decided to become a crash out on both their behalves, and Johann ended up at 511 Kinderheim after. Pfft, we all know how that turned out. She literally trauma dumped on this man so hard, Johann started acting like Nina's time at the Red Rose Mansion were his own memories. Eventually, Wolfgang Grimmer, another 511 Kinderheim survivor, also shows up, investigating the shady orphanage's past. Thanks to 511, dude can Hulk out into the Magnificent Steiner, a TV show character he watched as a kid when he's in danger. Meanwhile, Lunge finally senses something's off about his Tenma's the killer theory and starts looking for real evidence of Johann's existence. Hooray! Windows XP finally loaded! While Tenma is briefly captured and almost framed for murders, he escapes. Ava Heinemann, Tenma's trash ex, is threatened by Roberto, Johann's loyal henchman, as she's the only one that has seen Johann in person recently. At one point, she hires a bodyguard, Martin, who ultimately sacrifices himself to save her from Roberto. With Martin's final words, Tenma learns that Johann's master plan is to unalive himself and drag a remote town down with him. That remote town being Ruinheim. Eventually, Johann sets his eyes on Ruinheim, and he plans a big meltdown where everyone turns on each other. His henchmen start handing out guns to the townspeople, and the town basically turns into the Purge, but with more rain. Tenma, Nina, Lunge, and Grimmer all roll in. They see the meltdown in real time. People start dropping like flies. Grimmer fights back with his Steiner mode, but he gets shot. Lunge fights Johann's main henchman Roberto, also ends up taking an L. Nina tries to reason with Johann, but that boy's aura is beyond saving. Then Bonaparte pulls up, tries to pop Johann, but Roberto uses his last breath to shoot Bonaparte first. Johann tries to force Tenma to shoot him by threatening to kill a kid named Wim. Why? Because Johann's master plan is to frame Tenma again and prove that humans are trash. Nina tries to stop her bro, but he's like, LOL, no. Out of nowhere, Wim's drunk dad, tweaking from all the violence, stumbles in and pew pew, Johann takes a bullet to the head. Johann's on the ground clinging to life. In the dumbest plot twist ever, Tenma decides to operate on Johann again, as if he didn't learn anything the first time, and ends up saving his life. Albeit, Johann is now a vegetable. The cops finally realize Tenma was an innocent G the whole time. Nina recovers from her trauma and graduates college. Ava stops being an annoying bougie princess and gets her life together. Lunge, who basically needed a whole reality check, quits chasing Tenma and becomes a teacher. And Tenma finds the twins' mom and she tells Tenma their real names, which we as the audience never get to hear. Just before the credits roll, Tenma pays one last visit to Johann, who lies comatose in a secure hospital ward. Tenma sits down beside Johann, looks up, and Johann shoots out of bed. He asks if their mother sacrificed him or Nina that night at the Red Rose Mansion, or if she even knew which child she'd chosen. Shaken, Tenma steps out for a moment, and when he returns, Johann's bed is empty with the window wide open. And that is the end of Monster. I ended this anime with a big question. What if saving one life can lead to a million L's? Tenma wanted to do the right thing, but he accidentally gave a psycho a second chance at life, making you wonder if, like Ava said, whether all lives are equal or if some people aren't worth saving. In the end, I think the question that we're all left with is who's the real monster? Is it the messed up world that creates people like Johann? Is it Johann himself for causing so much death? Is it Tenma for saving him? Or is it all humans, as Johann says? Because we're easily driven by fear and greed. Monster never gives a black and white answer. That's the beauty in it. The monster might be gone, or maybe he's still out there, quietly waiting in the shadows. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to stalk the like button, kick subscribe, and shoot the bell icon so you never miss another video. Until next time, peace.